Thanks to 1-800-Flowers for sponsoring this update. You can order beautiful flowers for a loved one right from your browser and have your Valentine's Day sorted. Get 12 multicolored roses for just $19.99 or double the flowers for an extra $10 at 1-800-Flowers.com/no. Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley. Hey, it's my last news day before I head down to RTX Sydney, so I'm going to be out for a week. But before all that happens, there's news. Following the rumors yesterday that Microsoft was looking to start acquiring gaming talent to increase its Xbox business, we've got word that they've just scooped up PlayFab, a cloud-based gaming company. The company announced the acquisition in a new blog post detailing that PlayFab will allow them to build on the cloud engine work they've already done with Azure to provide a world-class cloud platform for the gaming industry. Interestingly enough, PlayFab does a lot of business with game developers out there, about 1,200 actually, providing them with cloud-based infrastructure so they don't have to build it themselves. Their clients include Bandai Namco, Atari, Disney, Capcom. We know that Xbox had big cloud-based gaming strides on the dock for the Xbox One once upon a time, so we'll see if some of those work their way back into the plan. I mean, it sounds like that's the direction they're heading. Gran Turismo Sport just came out in October, and while Polyphony Digital is supporting the game with new content, it looks like development is already underway for the next entry in the franchise. Series creator Kazunori Yamauchi confirmed the next Gran Turismo's development in a new interview with Japanese outlet Games Watch, saying it started just after the release of Gran Turismo Sport. He said that adjustable car settings are likely to return in that installment rather than as an update to Sport, and also said he wasn't sure if this was going to be a numbered Gran Turismo title or not. So maybe don't expect that one until the 2020s, but they're working on it. If you're worried that narrative experiences are going away in gaming because there are so many publishers saying that that's not their focus anymore, hey, Sega's got your back. The publisher just announced that it's teaming up with former Quantic Dream designers whose credits include Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls to create a brand new narrative-based IP. The alumni formed a new studio named Interior Night late last year, and they're excited to get to work with Sega on whatever this new game is. Interior Night CEO Carolyn Marshall said about the partnership, "We're very excited to work with Sega on our first narrative game. Sega have demonstrated a strong desire to take risks, innovate, and work collaboratively with studios." For Sega's part, this is part of their initiative they announced last year to push for brand new IPs. The Shadow of the Colossus remake for PlayStation 4, now with more K's and F's and P's and S's, it's got all the K's you can shake a stick at, is releasing in just about a week, and now we've got the reviews to remind us that yes, the game is still very good. The game is currently holding at a 93 on Metacritic and OpenCritic, at least at the time of writing this. It may shift a little bit, but that's the early consensus. So far, everyone agrees that in some ways this feels like the definitive version of the game, and that Bluepoint managed to keep the spirit and feel of the first one while expertly updating it with new features and visuals for a new generation. DualShockers wrote in its review, "Shadow of the Colossus is now easily the biggest achievement that the studio has ever had, and stands as arguably the greatest video game remake of all time. The legacy of Shadow of the Colossus has never been in question, but this PS4 edition has just further solidified its place among gaming's masterpieces." I think they liked it. The creator of Hyper Light Drifter has left his job as creative director of Square Enix Montreal, saying that he's going to return to indie development. And I mean, that's kind of a gift to all of us because, dude, Hyper Light Drifter was dope. Teddy Dief posted about his departure yesterday, and it sounds like it had to do with a project that Square Enix canceled. Dief wrote, "My team were working on a game that I deeply wish we could have shared with you, but the business strategy of the studio shifted, and our project was sadly no longer compatible." He added, "Because of this shift and the loss of our project, I no longer feel this is the place for me to pursue the type of work I aspire to make, the avenues of storytelling and game design I've been trying to explore in my career." Dief said he's moving back to Los Angeles to resume full-time indie development. No word on what the shift was specifically, but late last year Square Enix did announce that they're going to be focusing more on games as a service, so that may have been it. One of the most anticipated RPGs of the year is Project Octopath Traveler, the awkwardly titled, because I guess that's still a code name unless they just decide to keep it, but still awesome looking game that Square Enix is working on for the Switch. Now, you might remember that a demo of the game released back in September. It was kind of a surprise at a direct, like, hey, look at this cool thing, also there's a demo. Since then, it's been downloaded more than 1 million times, and more than 45,000 people have given their feedback on what they like about the game and what could be improved. Well, looks like Square Enix is taking those suggestions to heart. They released a video recently detailing how they're responding to all the feedback, and they've tweaked a lot of features, from incorporating a fast travel option to skippable and replayable cutscenes. They've also adjusted the colors of walls and floors in dungeons, as well as added a radar point to guide players to important spots. The difficulty of boss battles has been tweaked as well, so they've made a lot of changes based on feedback, which is awesome to see. The game's due out for the Switch sometime this year, but no exact date yet. And if you had to think of 2 unquestionably solid dudes that nobody on Earth could possibly say a single bad word about, there are 2 names that come to mind. 1, Mr. Rogers, and 2, Tom Hanks, although I could argue that he's not a great person to travel with. But it shouldn't be a surprise that if they decided to make a biopic of Mr. Fred Rogers' life, that Tom Hanks would play him. Variety reports that Hanks will play everyone's favorite casual sweater-wearing neighbor in You Are My Friend, which will focus on the real-life friendship between the eternal optimist and Tom Junod, the cynical reporter assigned to do a profile of him. Diary of a Teenage Girl director Mariel Heller will direct for TriStar. Now, Black Panther had its big premiere last night. Critics are already raving about it. No official reviews yet, but early impressions are out. Fandango's Eric Davis said Black Panther is exceptional, the James Bond of the MCU. LA Times' Trevel Anderson said, OMFG, Black Panther is everything I never knew I needed. He also called the superhero movie a love letter to blackness. Another LA Times critic, Jen Yamato, gushed about the movie as well, saying Black Panther is incredible, kinetic, purposeful, a superhero movie about why representation and identity matters and how tragic it is when those things are denied to people. The first MCU movie about something real. Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger had me weeping, and he's the villain. The overall consensus is that the movie's a unique entry into the MCU, one that puts its politics at the forefront and does it with style and flair. Lots of praise has been aimed at Michael B. Jordan's villain and the badassness of the ladies in this film, especially Denai Guerrera's Okoye and Letitia Wright's Shuri. Sounds like the MCU's got another winner. I've even heard people saying, hey, think like Civil War good. So that's very, very promising. Speaking of the MCU, today's the day they dropped the first trailer, well, teaser trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's a lot to absorb in this trailer. The setup shows the fallout from Ant-Man siding with Captain America in the Civil War and puts much of the focus on Evangeline Lilly's Wasp, setting her up to be the more reasonable and kick-ass member of this dynamic duo. So it looks like Peyton Reed's sequel continues to have fun with the concept of shrinking and embiggening of random objects as well. We get a glimpse of a really fun car chase where the good guy's van keeps going back and forth between small and regular size. I mean, God, they even weaponize a Hello Kitty Pez dispenser, so you know it's good. Things are getting real weird with the MCU, but I'm on board. It turns out people really like flamethrowers. Surprise. You might remember a couple days ago that Elon Musk demoed a flamethrower on Instagram with the caption, "Don't do this." As some have already pointed out, it's more like a big blowtorch, but hey, we're just splitting hairs at this point. What I want is a sticker so I can actually get Spaceballs the flamethrower. But this wasn't just a demo. On Instagram, it turns out Musk is selling the flame barfers for $500 each to raise money for his tunnel digging business called The Boring Company. A spokesperson said they've already sold 15,000 of the things, raising a total of $7.5 million. So there are going to be a lot of fire accidents, I predict. If you're wondering, flamethrowers are legal in nearly every state except Maryland. But one California politician, not so amused. Assemblyman Miguel Santiago vented his outrage on Twitter saying, "Not funny, not gonna happen." He said he'll introduce legislation to stop the sale of the flamethrower in that state. Although, as one person pointed out, Home Depot sells a pretty similar product for $50, so is he gonna block those too? Also, wow, that's way less than 500. Slap my Spaceballs sticker on that one. One of the oldest video game records in history has been thrown out after it was declared to be impossible. The game in question is the Atari 2600 racing game Dragster, which Todd Rogers claimed back in 1982 to have beaten in 5.51 seconds. Rogers submitted the time back then to Activision's fan newsletter, and it was later acknowledged by the company in print. That record has never been broken, and there might be a good reason for that. Numerous players have done exhaustive research to show that such a fast time was completely impossible, even using tool assists. Finally, gaming record keeper Twin Galaxies dropped the hammer and declared that Rogers' record is invalid. The new record time, if you're wondering, is 5.57 seconds, which has been set by multiple players. That doesn't seem like a huge difference, but like when you're talking about records, it really is. All right, that is all the news for this roundup. Woo, that was a beefy one. Okay, let us know what you think of all the news in the comments down below. If you want to get news from every corner of the internet every weekday, make sure that you like this video. If you're new to this channel, subscribe to the know. And hey, if you're in Sydney, come down to RTX Sydney this weekend and say hello, because I will be there and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I want to do a pub crawl and I want to end at the new bar they've got called Mjolnir that's Viking themed, because that's going to be awesome. So, I'll see you next week. I may be hungover, but not because I'm responsible. Shout out to our sponsor, 1-800-Flowers. Valentine's Day is coming up, and you can get a bouquet ordered and delivered without the bother of hitting up a store. Plus, getting it ordered early is good because prices usually go up closer to Valentine's Day, so get it out of the way and save the extra money for other things. 1-800-Flowers is offering a multicolored rose bouquet that looks beautiful and smells super nice. You can see it right here. You can get 1 dozen roses for $19.99 or upgrade to a full 2 dozen for $10 more. The roses are picked at their peak and shipped overnight, so they'll be fresh and beautiful on the date you want them delivered. Roses are the kind of Valentine's Day gift that never go out of style. They're a classic. To order the dozen roses for $19.99 or 2 dozen roses for an additional $10, just hit up 1-800-Flowers.com/know.